Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really powerful story about two people, Hans and the Miller. And trust me, their story teaches us a whole lot about what friendship is all about. But before we get started, I want to ask you something to think about while you listen. What really makes a true friend? Is it just someone who helps you out all the time? Or is it something more? Just kind of hold that thought in your head as we meet our first character. All right, let's meet Hans. He was this really kind guy, super hardworking, and he took care of the Miller's amazing garden. But more than that, everyone knew him for being an incredibly loyal and devoted friend. I mean, every single day, Hans did so much for the Miller. And it wasn't just a job for him. He really felt like he was helping a friend. He'd carry these heavy baskets, water all the flowers, and trim the plants. And through all that tough work, you know what? He never once complained. You see, in Hans's mind, friendship was super clear. He honestly believed that a real friend is someone who always helps out, no matter what. It didn't matter if the work was hard or if he was super tired. To him, that's just, well, that's what friends do for each other. So this is where the story really takes a turn. One morning, the Miller shows up and asks Hans for a favor. And it wasn't a small one. It was a really big favor that was going to put Hans's whole idea of friendship to the test. The Miller says, "Hans, I need you to go cut some reeds down by the river." And then he adds, "It will be very quick." He makes it sound like it's no big deal at all, like it'll be super easy and won't take any time. But Hans knew better. He knew those reeds were tough. So he tells the Miller the truth. He says, "Sir, they are really difficult to cut. My hands are probably going to hurt and it could take hours and hours." He was just being honest about how hard it was actually going to be. Okay, now listen close to what the Miller says next, because this part is so important. He doesn't say, "Oh, okay, don't worry about it then." No. Instead, he uses their friendship to get his way. He says, "Oh, Hans, it's for me, your friend. Friends always help each other." He's basically making Hans feel like if he says no, he's a bad friend. And right there, you see this huge difference between them. For Hans, friendship is all about devotion and loyalty. But for the Miller, it's just about getting help. He's only thinking about himself and what he can get, which is, well, it's really selfish. Well, because Hans was such a loyal friend, he agreed to do it. He went to cut the reeds. But as we're about to see, this difficult task came with a very high and very sad price. So poor Hans worked all day long under the hot sun, and the work was just as hard as he thought it would be. By the time he was done, his hands were bleeding and every muscle in his body was aching. He had given absolutely everything he had for his friend. He was completely exhausted. He goes back to the Miller and says, "Sir, I finished the work, but I'm so tired. Can you please help me get home?" After everything he'd just done, all he was asking for was a little help in return. And can you believe what the Miller says? He just brushes him off. He says, "You're fine, Hans. I don't need to carry you. Just walk slowly and go rest at home." He offered no help, no kindness, absolutely no care for his friend who had just spent the entire day working himself to the bone for him. Hans tried to be brave and start walking home, but he was just too weak. He didn't make it. He collapsed by the river. Later, the villagers found him, but it was too late. It's just heartbreaking. Yeah, it's a super sad ending, but there's a really big lesson in here for all of us. So let's talk about what this story shows us about what it means to be a true friend. When the other villagers found out what happened, they understood the sad truth. They said, sometimes even when you're a really kind and loyal friend, it doesn't guarantee that the other person is going to care about you in return. So this story teaches us that true friendship isn't what the Miller was doing. A real friend is someone who actually cares for you, who listens to you, and who shares both help and kindness. It goes both ways. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Friendship can't be a one-way street. It's not just about one person giving all the time. It has to be about mutual care, which is just another way of saying that both people look out for each other. And that brings us right back to that first question, but with a new challenge. After hearing the story of Hans and the Miller, think about this. How can you be a true friend to someone today? What's one little thing you can do to show you care? It's a powerful question to think about. Thanks for listening, everyone.